First up this week is Ken, because Ken paid to be first this week. And Ken basically wants to clone his old hard drive onto a new one because he thinks the old one's starting to fail, but everything else on the computer is fine. And that's a great way to extend the life of an older computer. Ken, some of the internal hard drives you can buy over the shelf include that software. So check that. You might want to check the boxes, figure out which ones might have that software in them. Since that is a common reason people buy internal hard drives, is to replace an old one. The software is sometimes included. However, in the event that it doesn't have it, probably the best tools I can recommend come from a company called Runtime Software. And if you just go to runtime.org, don't go to runtime.com, go to runtime.org, click products, and they've got a few different products here that you can look at. One, they're free too. One is called Drive XML, and Drive XML is a disk cloner. And then the other one you might want to look at that I believe will do what you want it to do as well is called Shadow Copy. So look at Drive XML or Shadow Copy. If you want to go the more conventional route, you could go to Norton Ghost. All right, thanks for writing in, Ken, and paying to be first in line this week. Next up is Donna, who wants to install Flash in her Firefox. And Donna, all you need to do is go to adobe.com. Once you arrive at adobe.com, click right here where it says Get Adobe Flash Player. And after you click that, there'll be an option for you to install the Flash Player, which is right here. And I always recommend undoing the little add-ons that they try to put on the downloads. But just undo that, and then click Agree and Install. Deborah says her email address was stolen and wants to know if she can recover her folders. Deborah, you didn't give me enough information to answer your question. I don't know if you're trying to recover folders from Outlook Express, a web-based email. I'm not sure what you're after. If you want to write back with some more detail, I can try to help you out. Craig's an old-time Mac user but has been using Windows for quite a while since then and wants to know if going back to Mac is easy. And yes, it is. If you're just working with Excel, Word, basic Office type document stuff, email, internet, you should have no problem transitioning back to Apple. To be able to have your Office compatibility, you can use either OpenOffice for free, which works quite well, or you can buy the Microsoft Office for Macintosh. Jay, the short answer is you cannot. If somebody sends an email with an attachment where the photo's too large for your email, and probably using Outlook Express is what it sounds like, it's not going to resize it unless you download it and view it from your computer. Chris, you're going to get into a lot of trouble trying to get this thing off of there unless you're using the right tools and the right approach. Go to my website, click links at the top of the website, download Spybot Search and Destroy, Combo Fix, and Malware Bytes. All three of those are products you're going to probably need all three of them. You're probably going to have to run scans with them at least twice each in order to get rid of all of those problems. I'm just going to the links here for you. They're all listed here in the security section. Make sure you run your CCleaner. It sounds like you've already done that. Empty temp files. Disconnect from the internet before you get these tools. Download these tools on another computer. Bring them to your infected computer on a CD or a USB drive, and run the combo fix first. Then run the other products as well. Good luck. Larry, you have the same problem as our previous person did there, Chris, and just follow the same exact directions. Gloria, I did a quick search for you on HP's website. It appears that they are not going to issue a patch anytime soon to allow you to do what you were able to do with previous versions of Office and Word 2003. So if you need that functionality, you're going to have to go back and use the older version of Word, because until they get that fixed, you aren't going to be able to do what you were doing with the older software. I think you should thank Microsoft on that one, because they made 2007 so incompatible with so many different other softwares. Yes, it is a scam, Jack. Do not believe anything you get in email regarding upgrades, particularly for free products. Ralph, you didn't mention how much RAM you have. You have a pretty fast processor and you're running Windows XP. 5 minutes is definitely excessive. But if you have less than 512 megabytes of RAM, you want to upgrade the RAM on your computer to help increase the boot speed or decrease the boot speed. Also, go to my website, helpmerick.com, and use the search the site option right here on the right hand side and search for msconfig. and then I'll have a few articles that come up on how to take advantage and mold the msconfig to make your boot up process a lot leaner, cleaner, and faster. Without seeing this particular laptop, James, it could be that the cable inside the laptop that connects the video adapter to the motherboard could be loose. Could be that the adapter itself is going bad, or it could be just a video card driver problem with Windows. Have you been able to boot up into safe mode? Have you tried hooking an external monitor through the VGA port? Are you able to get any further using those techniques? If you are, then it's a driver problem. If you can't get anything else but the flashing screen on an external monitor, you can't get into safe mode, then it is a hardware problem. You're going to have to get it looked at by someone who can possibly open that up and make a diagnosis for you. Robert, I think I'm missing something on your question here. You want to export your favorites from Internet Explorer to Firefox. There are no bookmarks in Internet Explorer. They're called favorites. It's the same. Favorites and bookmarks are an interchangeable name. Firefox uses the name bookmarks. Internet Explorer uses the name favorites. If you want to import all of your favorites into Firefox, the easiest thing to do is just click File from the menus in Firefox and then Import, and you'll get this particular screen here, and you can just say import your bookmarks or your favorites from Internet Explorer. I usually just uncheck the other three options there that you don't need. Click Next, and it'll walk you through getting all of your favorites. Now, if you have an extra toolbar, maybe you're using a Yahoo toolbar or a Firefox or a Google toolbar or some other toolbar in Internet Explorer that's housing your favorites for you, you're going to have to figure out from that toolbar provider how to bring those favorites, or again bookmarks if that's indeed what they are, from that toolbar over to Firefox, which probably just means installing the toolbar in Firefox. Darren, I haven't used ThreatFire myself. It's just an add-on to your already existing antivirus and anti-spyware software, and what it purports to do is anything that's brand new that comes out before even your antivirus or anti-spyware can produce definitions for it, it's supposed to help you protect against it. So it's an additional type of a protection. It gets a lot of good reviews. I myself have never used it. I still think that if you're practicing good browsing habits and you're careful about your searching, you probably don't need it. Leo, the instructions are on my website there at helpmerick.com. I just simply searched for email pictures, and the second option I got here was sending pictures via email, and it'll show you exactly what you want to do as far as sending your email with resized photos. You can also use one of my favorite programs called Picasa in order to do the same thing for you in a couple less steps. Marge, you didn't mention what blog software you're using and whether or not you've tried the same thing using Internet Explorer versus Firefox. Do those two things. The other thing you may want to do with Firefox is go to Tools and then Options from the menus, and under the Options from the menus go into, then click Advanced and then Network, and then click Clear Now to clear your cache, just to see if there's something that's holding up in the temporary files of Firefox causing the problem. The other thing you can check with Firefox is clicking Tools and then Add-ons, and you'll have a list of your different add-ons that you have, and you can disable some of the add-ons maybe that are newer that you think may be causing a particular problem. We're going to finish this particular video with a question from Jeanette. She wants to do an artistic photo with a flower, for example, and she wants to make everything else black and white but the flower. And with Picasa, you don't have a lot of flexibility in doing this, but if you open up the photo into the little editor mode of Picasa, you can click Effects, and then under Effects you can do Focal Black and White. And if I click Focal Black and White, you can see it made everything else black and white but the flower. And depending on where you click, you see that the focal changes. So if I click right in the middle, I can make that just a bit bigger, and it makes the flower in color but everything else black and white. But you don't get much more flexibility than that. So if you don't have a perfectly circular flower, if you're doing an iris or something like that, it's not going to work quite as well. But that's the extent of the tools you have with Picasa. We have a lot of questions this week, so I have one more quick video coming up right after this.